Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mack Flash Trivia. My name is Francois and I'll be your host for the next little bit. This is Seriously Trivia Live. Welcome one and all to another beautiful Friday night trivia. My name is Francois. As I said, I will be your host during this hour and a half or so where we will be playing some Seriously Trivia. But Francois, on Monday, you said there wasn't going to be a Seriously Trivia because you are busy working all over the place, all over the city. I know what I said. I have YouTube as well. I can go back and watch it. But guess what? I'm not here. I am here, but I'm not here. I am currently at the Bull and Barrel doing a private trivia right there. But I'm also here hosting trivia for you guys. I decided to host what I call the Mack Flashback episode of Seriously Trivia, where I went back into the library, picked a show from a long time ago that we haven't done online, but I did do in person. So yes, you may recognize this. You may see that some stuff has been used before, and if so, I'm sure Carrie will let us know. But some of you may not have seen this game, or maybe you don't care, or maybe you just don't remember. Well, hopefully this game will do what it was that you needed. Plus, now you guys can say anything you want about me in the chat, and I can't retort. Hey, come on now. No, I'm kidding. There's nothing to see. You see? I'm going to make all sorts of comments like that all night. It's going to be so much fun. Hey, let's take a look at how to play this game in case this is your first time, and talk about an odd time to be your first time to play this game when it's pre-recorded. But hey, what you're going to want to have tonight, you're going to want to have yourself something to write on and something to write with, and maybe even an optional scoreboard to keep track of your score at home. What we're going to be doing, we're going to be playing some trivia tonight. It's not actually going to be 10 rounds of 3 questions, but 8. This is a flashback episode back when we only did 8 categories per half. But we are still going to play 2 full rounds of 8 categories, each of them with 3 questions of puzzles or trivia in them. You guys, I'm gonna be choosing the categories tonight simply because I can't, I don't have access to your feedback at this moment. It doesn't work like that. One day I'll be a time traveler as well. But as I pick these categories and I'll try to alternate them, we will play them. And in them, you will find 3 questions to answer that you will discreetly write down on your board or page. And at the end of each of these rounds, I will reveal the answers, so you'll be able to mark yourselves and share your score with everybody in the chat, and it's all up to you tonight to keep it entertaining. I want you to keep track of your score, of course. Make sure you do share it in the chat as we go, and keep it tally, because it's always fun to see at the end of the night what has come up and what has transpired. All right, let's get going with our categories. It is Seriously Trivia. Let's play and see what we have in the Mack Flashback edition. We have a life on the chain, gang, because this game is as old as time. We've got I Am What I Am. We've got Lloyds of Fun. Songs in the Key of. We have VFX. The ABCs of. We got Hear No Evil. And finally, Generian Knowledge. These are all your categories, and we're gonna start it off as we normally do with a little bit of, I'm gonna assume that AB just yelled out songs in the key of in the chat, and I'm gonna go ahead and choose that one to start off with. Let's start off with songs in the key of drinks. Man, this should have been the shot of the night. Ah, well, bad planning, that's all. This is Song in the Key of Drinks. These songs all have drinks in their title. Let's give a good look at these questions and see if you can come up with the 3 answers. Number 1. This song is popular for appearing in the classic movie Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and known virally for being a terrible song for karaoke. Number 2, in Song in the Key of Drinks, what song by The Doors is actually named Alabama Song, bracket, but is better known by its subtitle in brackets? And finally, your third question about songs with drinks in the title. I looked it up, and this 2-ingredient drink is as easy to make as Snoop Doggy Dogg says, and it pairs well with Endo. And those are your songs in the key of drinks. Pairs well with Endo. Francois, you diabolical. I know. I know. Let's take a look at the answers for these songs in the key of drinks. The first one we were looking for, Tequila. Definitely a terrible karaoke song. Number 2, we have Whiskey Bar. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. That one. Alabama song, Whiskey Bar by The Doors. And last but not least, Gin and Juice with My Mind on My Money and My Money on My Mind. Give yourself a point for each of those. Tequila, Whiskey Bar, Gin and Juice. Share your scores in the chat. We'll see you back at the front for more Seriously Trivia. Let's move it right along with your next categories, and I'm really curious about this. I am what I am, so I'm going to go with this category here. Number 2, it is I am what I am. The answer to these questions all start with the letter M. Let's take a look at these questions right now. An establishment producing small batches of beer in limited quantities, frequently only selling on their premises. Number 2, an optical phenomenon that creates the illusion of water, also called Fata Morgana. And remember the hint, all of these answers start with the letter M. Type of eel represented by Flotsam and Jetsam, Ursula's henchman in 1989's The Little Mermaid. Three answers that start with the letter M is what you should have written down on your board. Let's see if your answers jive with mine. Taking a look at those answers right now. Sorry, I was just looking to make sure I wasn't muted there. No one can tell me right now. We have a microbrewery is the term we were looking for. Microbrewery, a term that's been pretty much replaced by craft brewery now. I guess it makes it a little less scientific and scary and more heartwarming and doily like. I don't know. I think of doilies when I think of craft. I'm sorry. That's what I think about. We have a mirage, Fata Morgana, or the appearance of water in a desert, a mirage. And we have a moray. Moray eels are the type of eels that are flotsam and jetsam in The Little Mermaid. Give yourself a point for each of those M answers that you got. Tally up those scores and share them in the chat. Cheers to everybody who showed up at the rock and roll bingo last night at the Walkerville Brewery Beer Garden. We were outside, it was cold, it was windy, and yet we had a ton of people show up. A great time it was for sure, and I cannot wait to do it again. And as somebody said on Facebook the other day, I can't wait to do it inside edition, because I think it'll be a lot of fun once we are not fighting the elements as well. But cheers to you guys. Thank you so much for coming out, and cheers to the Walkerville Brewery for all the fun times. All right, let's keep moving right now to our next category. I think it's time for a little bit of puzzles. Yeah, let's do some Lloyds. Why not? Let's do some Lloyds. Let's clear off that little corner right there. It's time for the Ditloids. It's Lloyds of fun, baby. Ditloid is, of course, an abbreviation or an expression, a common fact or a saying that has been reduced to an abbreviation or an acronym. For example, here in the category of measurement, if I said 12 equals I in a F, you would say 12 inches in a foot. Let's take a look at these three Ditloids coming at you right now. You get a point for solving each of them, and it starts with this one. General knowledge: 3 equals H on an AC. Number 2 in the category of Ditloids, literature. 66 equals B of the B. Here's that category again. I'm not even doing it on purpose. And finally, your final Ditloid of the night, geometry. 8 equals C on a RP. And there you have it. We're having Lloyds of fun with these Ditloids. Hopefully you're able to solve them. And let's take a look if you were able to do so for 1 point each. Number 1, we had ourselves 3 hands on an analog clock. I don't know. I don't know if I would I was staring at it. I didn't remember it. Did you guys get it? Yeah, I'll have to see when the scores come up. Number 2, 66 books of the Bible. Now, it all depends on the version, I guess, but there it is. And last but not least, we have 8 corners on a rectangular prism. So it wasn't 8 corners on a round pyramid, eh? I guess I had that one wrong as well. Let's take a look at that and give yourselves your points, of course, as you deserve them. 1 point for each Ditloid that you solve. How's everybody doing right now? Everybody having fun? Enjoying yourselves? I hope you guys are keeping that chat alive between you all. I know you're all very clever, very funny. Formed sort of a community here. So, I figure if I leave you guys alone a little bit without a babysitter, you guys should be all right. I hope you are enjoying tonight's show. And make sure you stick around. We've got these 5 categories left and then a whole other round after this. Keeping your Friday nights trivia full. Trivia plentiful. Trivia full? I don't know. Is that like plentiful? Trivia full. I don't know. Anyway, let's keep playing. I think it's time for a little bit of ABCs of, so we're going to go for that one right now. It's the ABCs of time. These answers to these questions, of course, will start with A and then B and then C, respectively. That's how the ABCs work. And they're all going to be about time. Buckle in, everybody. These are quite scientific, if I remember correctly. Let's take a look at number 1. An extremely accurate timekeeping device regulated by the natural molecular vibration frequency of substances like cesium, ammonia, or hydrogen. What is that? Starts with the letter A. This next answer will start with the letter B. It's an internal timing mechanism of the body which is responsible for regulating various responses like eating, sleeping, and reproduction. And finally, this answer starts with the letter C. The period of history which generally covers history still in living memory, approximately 100 years behind the current year. And just like that, we had 3 questions all about time in one way or another. The answers starting with the letter A, then B, and then C. So goes the ABCs of time. Let's take a look at the answers right now. That's not the button I wanted to push. I wanted to push this one right here. Hi. With A, first of all, we had an atomic clock. The atomic clock uses the vibrations of atoms to regulate the time, therefore being very, very precise. Atomic clock. With the letter B, we're looking at your biological clock. Your biological clock, you've heard of the saying before, regulating your internal sort of needs, if you will. And last but not least, we had the contemporary period. So this is basically now, and from now to 100 years before us is called the contemporary period, and that's kind of a moving sort of period because it's always based on the now. Give yourself a point for each of those: atomic clock, biological clock, and contemporary period. Boom, boom, boom. Let's just see those scores in the chat, of course. As we are halfway through our first round of Mack Flashback. What the heck was I trying to say? Halfway through the first round of Seriously Trivia Mack Flashback Edition. And we're going to keep it moving right now with a little bit of Generian knowledge. This is a picture, it's a picture round. This was out right about the time the Face App aging filter was out, and everyone suddenly got very, very afraid of Russia owning their pictures for some reason. Well, this is what this is based on. We've got 5 celebrities that have been put through the Face App aging filter. I want you to tell me for each picture who they are. If you're ready to go, it starts, of course, with number 1. And there you have your old celebs, celebrities that have been put through the Face App aging filter. And remember that? That was such a flash in the pan. It was so in and out and gone. That's it. Now it's all the it's the deep fake apps that people are putting the reface. They're putting their faces in movies and stuff. That's crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Let's take a look at the answers for these old celebs that I was looking for. Number one of my favorite comedic actors, it is Adam Scott. Adam Scott, the actor, not the golfer. At number two, we had Gordon Ramsay, looking dashing as always. We have James Marsden coming in at number three. Number four, we were talking about the Jonas Brothers. Those are all of the Jonas Brothers together. And last but not least, it was Lil Nas X. He took his horse to the Old Town Road, and he stayed there for quite a while. I think he's about to retire there. Give yourself a point for each of those that you got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 possible points. Let us know how well you fared on this old celebs picture round. Question on your mind, I know. Is there going to be a shot of the night? Yes, there will be a shot of the night. It is tucked away somewhere in round number 2, as it always is. So make sure during the break that you prepare yourselves with your shot glass and your whatever, and get yourselves ready for the shot of the night in round number 2. But first, let's make a new category, shall we? We got Life on the Chain Gang, we got VFX, and we got Hear No Evil. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to guess which one I'm going to pick. I picked Hear No Evil. I wanted to see what would happen. There you have it. I don't know if this is a game or not. You guys are playing like a side game right now. Let's see what Francois picks and see if we can pick it in order. That's a fun game. You just predict the order that the games will come in, like a lottery almost. I think we're coming up with something, guys. That sounds illegal. All right, Hear No Evil, turn it up. Here's a category about deaf or hard of hearing famous people. Let's take a look at these 3 questions right now. Number 1, what famous inventor born in 1847 believed that his loss of hearing helped him to be a better scientist? Number 2, Niall DeMarco is a deaf actor, model, and activist who got his start as the second male winner and first deaf winner of what reality talent show? And finally, number 3 in the category of Hear No Evil. This late night talk show host is actually completely deaf in his right ear, which he demonstrated on Letterman before taking over. And that's it for Hear No Evil. 3 questions about deaf or hard of hearing celebrities. Let's see if you were able to come up with the answers I was looking for. Number 1, we were talking about Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison lost a lot of his hearing, and he thought that it made him a better scientist. Something to be said about putting the emphasis on the other, your other senses taking over. Maybe it could be. Number 2, we have America's Top Model. Niall DeMarco being the first deaf winner of America's Top Model. And number 3, we were talking about Stephen Colbert, the hint in there being that he took over for Letterman. And yeah, completely deaf in 1 ear. Did not know that. Give yourself a point for each of those. Thomas Edison, America's Top Model, and Stephen Colbert. We'll see you back at the front. We've just got a few categories left in round number 1, after which we'll be taking a short break. maybe 5 minutes or so, and coming right back with round number 2, another 8 categories for you guys. Ready to rock and or roll. Give you some time to share your scores in the chat right now. Have some fun. Take a sip. Refreshing. Hey, look, I did like you guys, and I kept life on the chain gang until last. It's like I know you guys somehow. Let's do a little bit of VFX right now, visual effects. What this is, 3 questions about visual effects in movies. Something maybe a little niche, but for those of you who are big movie fans, you've got a good chance here. If you've ever watched some DVD commentary or bonus features, you know, you have an even better chance. Let's take a look at your first question regarding VFX. What is the P word for a special effect produced physically without computer-generated imagery? Number 2, what is the K word associated with the popular technique of using blue or green screen to remove the background in movies? Starts with the letter K. And finally, your last question when it comes to visual effects. In VFX, what is a squib? A small explosive device? The name for motion capture balls? Or the guy who replaces CG characters during filming? So what is a squib? Is it a small explosive device? The name for motion capture balls? Or the name for the guy who replaces CG characters during filming? And there you have it, 3 questions all about visual effects in movies. I'm a big fan of those, and if you enjoy this stuff, there's plenty, of course, on YouTube of places you can check it out. I especially enjoy the Corridor Crew. They review good and bad special effects in movies, and it's always fun to see them pointing stuff out that you never noticed, and it's in a lot of the movies that you have seen. So check it out if you get the chance. I'm not even being paid by them, just sharing my love of Corridor Crew. Let's take a look at your answers for these VFX. Number 1, we were looking for the P word for an effect that is done without any aid of computers, and that is a practical effect. So when you actually blow up a car and film it, that's a practical effect. At number 2, the K word is keying, color keying. When you key out the color, that's what you do to replace the background with a green screen or a blue screen. And last but not least, we have the explosive device. A squib is an explosive device often placed on a person to mimic gunshots and stuff like that. So there you have it. You've got your 3 questions right now. VFX, practical effect, keying, and explosive device. Give yourself a point for each, and we'll see you back at the front. It's Life on the Chain Gang coming up next. Thank you so much for joining me tonight again in these special circumstances. I hope you are enjoying the show, and I cannot wait to get home and I can't wait till after the show and take a look at the comments and stuff. Thank you very much, and make sure you stick around. We're gonna take a short break after this and come back with another round of Seriously Trivia Mack Flashback Edition with 8 more categories for you. But now let's take care of this little one that's hanging out here. It's Life on the Chain Gang. In each box, I'm going to give you 5 words. The 3 in the middle contain blanks. Now, Those are the ones I need you to figure out. But here's the trick. You can use each word with the next one to form a common expression or saying. For example, here we've got run away, away team, team player, and player one. You're gonna have to do that in each box, which means 9 possible points going to your team. Let's take a look at your first chain gang. 25 seconds on the clock. Number 2 in the chain gang puzzle. And finally, number 3, your final chain gang puzzle of the night. Nine possible points going to your team, depending on how well you did and how many of these words you were able to figure out. As I always say, it's not important to get them all. It's just more important to get more than everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep moving to the answers of this chain gang, and we're looking at this one coming up first. It was about, walk about face, face app, and app something. I don't remember. I wasn't paying attention. And back in the day, apparently I only wrote the answers down and not the leading or ending words, which I changed because clearly this is ridiculous. Number 2, we have screen, door, and stop. Screen, door, stop. And last but not least, we were looking at roast beef, beef stock. I think that was stock market or stock car. Yeah, whichever one it was. These are the important words right here. About face, app, screen, door, stop. Roast beef stock. Sounds delicious. Give yourself a point for each of those. Tally up your score for this round. Add it to your total score because this is the end of this half of Seriously Trivia. Mack Flashback Edition. And just at this point, I invite you all to share your total score for the half in the chat at this moment. We're going to take a short break, just about 5 minutes, just enough for you to refresh your drink, get your shot glass out of that cupboard, and grab your favorite bottle or whatever it is that you're going to be putting in that shot glass to join us during round one of the rounds. It's not round 3, question 3, not this time. No. It's hidden behind one of the puzzles. We'll be doing that 10 more or 9 more, 8 more categories. I am not accountable to anyone right now, and you can tell. 8 more categories coming up in just about 5 minutes. We'll be right back, everybody. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Mack Flash Trivia. My name is Francois, and I am still your host. They haven't gotten rid of me. They can't fire me because, well, it's kind of just like me and, well, producer, of course, but you know them. Hey, welcome back to Seriously Trivia. I've got some more categories left to go. I got 8 of them, as a matter of fact. If you just joined us during the break, let me recap a little bit how today is going to work. You're going to need something to write on and with, whether it's a whiteboard or a notepad, whatever you choose, because we're going to be playing 8 categories, not 10 of them. This is a special show. Very special, so special indeed, I've removed content as opposed to adding more. I know, I kind of reverse do things sometimes. But it's going to be a mix of puzzles and trivia. As you pick these categories, or I pick these categories tonight, we'll be playing them 3 questions at a time. You're going to write these down discreetly on your board, and eventually I will give you the answers. Eventually being immediately after the round. Once I give you the correct answers, feel free to mark your own board or sheet and share your score in the chat with everybody else, keeping a tally, of course, of your score for the end, so we can all compare each other and feel super awesome about ourselves and our performances. Are you ready to go? Let's play some Seriously Trivia, everybody. And don't forget, one of these categories right now holds the shot of the night. But first, let's take a look at these categories for the second half of Seriously Trivia. We got Former and Ladder coming up. We've got Mystery Bus. We've got a bit of Under the Gun. Songs in the Key of Storm Area 51. Remember that. We've got the ABCs of... We've got Speak No Evil, and we've got There's a Nap for That. Yeah, that's when you're feeling really tired. There's a nap for that. Let's take a look at these categories. Let's see, which one shall it be? I think we're gonna go with a little bit of ABCs. Let's start with that one. Why not? Why not? Let's start it off with that. We never do, so let's do it now. It's the ABCs of space. We had time in the first category. Let's take a look at these 3 questions all about space. And of course, these are all questions. This is the ABCs of space, so the answers will start with A, then B, and then C. So this answer here starts with the letter A. Name for minor planets, of which 5,000 have been discovered, mostly between Mars and Jupiter. This answer will start with the letter B. More recently, the term has been used to describe a second full moon in a single month. And finally, number 3, this answer will start with the letter C. It is the part of the sun seen as a bright glow in most solar eclipse photos. And that's the ABCs of space. We're talking about 3 questions where the answers started with A, then B, then C, all about space. Let's take a look at those answers right now, starting with the letter A. We were talking about asteroids, minor planets, 5,000 of which have been discovered just between those 2 planets. That's crazy. Number 2, starting with the letter B, we have a blue moon. Once in a blue moon. Describing now. It had a different meaning before, but now when you get 2 moons in 1 month. Number 3, starting with the letter C, the corona of the sun. Basically, the big shiny part that you draw like this when you're a kid and you just do these things. Yeah, so those are your 3 ABCs of space. Give yourself a point for each of those. You know how it works. Share your score in the chat, of course. A big thank you to our sponsors, Littlefoot Foods. They're still around and sponsoring the show, which is great. And we're starting to do giveaways. Last week, we gave away a bag of pierogies, but it unfortunately went unclaimed. Can you believe it? We'll be resuming the giveaways next week on Seriously Trivia, so make sure you do tune in for that. You could win a bag of Littlefoot Foods pierogies just for being here and picking the right category. That's how we're going to do it for now, and tons of more collaborations with them. Thank you, Littlefoot Foods. Make sure you check them out on Facebook or at littlefootfoods.ca. Let's take a look at your next category. I'm going to go ahead and pick Under the Gun as your next one. Under the Gun, all of the answers contain the letter combination G-U-N somewhere in the word. Not the separate letters G-U-N, but the letter combination G-U-N somewhere at the beginning, middle, or end of the word. Let's take a look at these three definitions. Give me the gun word. A shade of brownish red. Number 2, a bag made of coarse, heavy fabric like jute or hemp. And last but not least, your final question about a word that contains the letter combination G-U-N somewhere in it. A body of water cut off from a larger body by a reef of sand or coral. And that's Under the Gun for you. 3 answers that should contain the letter combination G-U-N somewhere in there. Let's take a look at those answers. It goes a little bit something like this. For your first one, we were talking about burgundy, a brownish red shade. Burgundy. Number 2, we had a gunny sack, a sack made of jute or hemp. And last but not least, with G-U-N, a laguna is the word we were looking for. Laguna. Give yourself a point for each of those. Burgundy, gunny sack, and laguna. Laguna. That's fun to say. Laguna. Once again, thank you very much for being here tonight and spending some time with Mack Flash. There's no Games Lounge happening tonight unless the guys have decided otherwise after this show, and I will defer to them in the chat at this moment to supersede me if the need be. But the plan is no Games Lounge tonight. We will be resuming the live Seriously Trivia and Games Lounge combo next Friday at 8, so make sure you do keep track of that either by using Facebook or Instagram, or subscribing to this channel, or setting a reminder in your phone, or using a post-it note, or asking your neighbor to tell you the next time you see him. Either method, all of them work, whichever you need. But make sure you do come back for more gaming with us at Mack Flash. Let's get going. We need some puzzles. I think we need some puzzles right now in our lives, and I'm gonna go ahead and pick your next one. It's the mystery bus. We're gonna ride that mystery bus to Mystery Bus is the shot of the night. How about that? Well, that is an amazing coincidence, isn't it then? This is the time of the night where we come together and we do a shot, whether it's a whiskey, wheatgrass, or water, as I like to say. It's just an idea of coming together and doing a shot as an act of togetherness, even though we're all sitting separately in our houses. It's kind of like 420, but for shots. You know what I mean? So this one goes out to all of you who have tuned in tonight to this very special Mack Flashback episode of Seriously Trivia. Cheers, everybody. Oh, oh, that hits harder earlier in the day. Ooh. Let's take a look at your category. It's Mystery Bus or Mr. Rebus. We got Rebus puzzles coming at you right now. In this example, we got the word good inside the word tensions. So we have good intentions. Good intentions. It's a visual representation of a common expression or saying. I've got 3 of them coming at you right now, and it starts with this one. Number 2 in the Rebus puzzles. And finally, number 3, Mystery Bus or Mr. Rebus. Can you figure out this Rebus puzzle? I like this one. And those are your Rebus puzzles for tonight. Hopefully you were able to solve those. I say that all the time. I need somebody to write me some new catchphrases. What is going on? Please, in the chat, and you know I'm going to be reading these, let me know some new catchphrases. How are ways that I can summarize the end of a game? You know, there we have it. That's your game. You know, oh, those are the answers. All right, let's look at the answers. These are the answers to your Rebus puzzles coming up right now. First one, we had eggs over easy. Pretty sure that all of you got that one. At number 2, it was useful information. We had useful inside formations, useful information. And last but not least, we had a red herring or red herring. Give yourself a point for each one of those you got correct. Eggs over easy, useful information, and red herring. Didn't mean to mislead you with that one. We got 5 categories left in this round. While you share your scores in the chat, I will consider which category we should do next. Moving right along to our next category right now. Foreman Ladder, Storm Area 51, Speak No Evil, Songs in the Key of, and there's an app for that. You know what? I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to go for the Songs in the Key of. I think I put it off long enough. It's songs in the key of super. Super, thanks for asking. Questions about songs with super in the title. Let's take a look at these 3 questions right here. Number 1, got some lyrics here. What Our Lady Peace song says, do you worry that you're not liked? How long till you break? You're happy because you smile, but how much can you fake? Number 2, Can't Touch This uses a sample from what Rick James song? And finally, number 3, songs in the key of Super. What year saw the release of the song Champagne Supernova by Oasis? Was it in 1992, 1995, or 1997? Three questions about songs with super in the title. Wasn't that fun? I'm trying new catchphrases. I'm trying. I'm going to try to come up with some new ones until the rest of the night. Let's take a look at the answers for songs in the key of super. Those lyrics, do you worry that you're not liked? How much can you fake or take? It's Superman's Dead by Our Lady Peace. At number 2, containing super, Super Freak by Rick James is the song sampled in MC Hammer's Can't Touch This. And finally, at number 3, 1995 is when that was released. Champagne Supernova by Oasis. Give yourself a point for each of those. Superman's Dead, Super Freak, and 1995. Of course, sharing your score in the chat with everybody else. Let's start off the second half of this round with something different. We're going to do the picture round. There's an app for that. And this is your picture round for this one. For each picture, I want you to identify the name of the application. This is it's definitely a version of the app logo. These change quite often, due to rebranding and keeping up with the times. But you should be able to identify the 5 different apps that are represented here by these photos. Let's take a look at number 1. There you have it. There's an app for that. 5 different app logos. All you had to do was name the application that belongs to each of them. And yes, I do realize that some of those are dated versions of those logos, but still, you should have been able to come up with these answers. Let's take a look at the applications I was looking for. One that should have lasted a little longer, but I guess has been replaced by TikTok. It is Vine. We've got ourselves number 2. We had Spotify in there. Invaluable. Love that. One of my favorite applications. That one and Netflix, basically. We have Snapchat coming in at number 3. Number 4, we have the HuffPost or Huffington Post. And last but not least, Reddit, the front page of the internet. Give yourself a point for each of those you got correct. 5 apps, 5 points. And add it to your score. Sharing, of course, with everybody else. 3 categories left in this edition of Seriously Trivia. Mack Flashback Edition, Former and Latter, Storm, Area 51, and Speak No Evil. I think I've already got an idea of how I'm going to proceed with these 3 categories. Now that everyone's had a chance to share their scores and their comments in the chat, let's move on to Speak No Evil. Following our Hear No Evil category, this is a foray into silent film, possibly the toughest category you guys will play tonight, but hopefully I made it accessible so that you can have at least one answer, at least one. That would be nice, eh? Right? All right, let's take a look here. This influential 1927 German sci-fi film presents a highly stylized futuristic city where a beautiful utopia exists above a bleak underworld. You guys know this. Number 2. Released in 1922, this movie was an unauthorized adaptation of Bram Stoker's Dracula. Remember, we're talking about silent film. And finally, number 3 in your category of silent film. This French silent film won several Oscars, Grammys, and BAFTAs. And it was released in 2011. And that's how you play Speak No Evil. We had Hear No Evil before, and we're gonna have to wait for another Mack Flashback so that you guys can play See No Evil, which is the 3rd part of this category. But for now, let's take a look at the answers for Speak No Evil. 3 questions about silent film. What a niche type of topic, but good chance for everyone, especially that the number 1, we were talking about Metropolis, possibly one of the most famous movies out there. Number 2, we were talking about Nosferatu. That's right, that's a really creepy black and white silent film. Was an unauthorized version of Bram Stoker's Dracula. And last but not least, at number 3, The Artist, 2011 silent film, picking up all sorts of awards. Give yourself a point for each of those. Share in the chat. We're going down to our last 2 categories in the front menu here. Storm Area 51 is next. We're going to finish it off with a nice former and ladder to get the nice big 9-pointer right there at the end. Thanks again for being here today, and thank you for understanding the circumstances. Of course, I am currently at the Bull and Barrel hosting trivia for a private party at the moment. It helps to pay the bills, everybody, and that's what's going on. But I'm very happy that I was able to find some time to get this show together for you guys, so that my regulars, if you will, my fans could get a show tonight on a Friday night, and that your plans would not be too disturbed. This idea came to me last night. I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I have an idea. It's the Mack Flashback edition. So thank you very much for playing along today. Thanks for being super awesome and chatting to each other in the chat, I am sure. And I'm gonna get home, they'll be like, no one watched. 0 chats. That would be so great. It'd be just funny. Anyway, we've got 2 categories left, so let's play those. It is Storm Area 51. Remember when that was a thing? Remember? It did lead to a couple of things. Well, you know what? In case those are questions in here, let's not get into it too much. Let's talk about Storm Area 51. On what 1970 sci-fi series revived in the 2000s would you encounter a race of robotic aliens called the Cylons? Number 2. On what television show would you regularly see the alien duo of Kang and Kodos? That shot of tequila went straight for the speech center of my brain. And finally, at number 3 in Storm Area 51, on Star Trek, 7 of 9 was formerly part of what alien race of beings? And just like that, we've stormed Area 51 with 3 alien-themed questions. Let's take a look at the answers for those alien-themed questions that we had. At number 1, we were talking about Battlestar Galactica, where the Cylons are trying to wipe out the human race. At number 2, it's on The Simpsons that you would meet Kang and Kodos, are 2 friendly aliens. And, well, friendly? Not really. We have the Borg. 7 of 9 was formerly part of the Borg. Give yourself a point for each of those, and let's get back to the front here for one more category. Your final game of the night. It's Former and Ladder. Coming up in just a few minutes after you share your score in the chat. Take some time to look at those. Let's finish it off with a little bit of Former and Ladder for you, your final game of the night. Again, thank you very much for playing the Seriously Trivia tonight. Don't forget to come back on Monday for Mack Flash Trivia at 7 o'clock. And of course, next Friday, more Seriously Trivia at 8 p.m., followed by the Games Lounge. It's going to be a great time indeed. We've got Former and the Ladder coming up in the next 3 boxes. Whoa, what the hell was that, eh? I just realized that that's a big motion. In the next 3 boxes, I will give you 3 hints to which the answers are 1 letter off from each other. For example, if I said protective building, you would say fort. Stinky gas is a fart. And at the grocery store, we've got a cart. So we're going to do that in each box, which means 9 possible points going to your team. And it starts, of course, with number 1. Afterlife location. These are all 4-letter words tonight, by the way. Afterlife location, assistance, and whale food. Again, looking for some four-letter words here. Embryonic plant, woodwind mouthpiece, and actor's demo. And finally, Informer and the Ladder. Let's take a look at these three hints where the answers are one letter off from each other. Not the front. For carrying. Contest of speed. And that's Former and the Ladder for you. 9 possible points if you were able to come up with each of the 4-letter words that are one letter off from each other in each box. Let's take a look at those answers right now. One more time tonight. We've got ourselves at number 1, Hell, a afterlife location. Assistance is help, and whale food is kelp. At number 2, we had seed, an embryonic plant. We had a reed, the part of the mouthpiece of a woodwind instrument, and then a reel, a demo reel, the actor's demo. And finally, we had back, not the front. To carry, you have a rack, and a running contest or a speed contest is a race. Give yourself a point for each of those words you got correct, which means 9 possible points going to your team if you were able to come up with these 9 words exactly. And just like that, we find ourselves with another clean slate at the end of another great game. Thank you so much for being here tonight and tuning in. I'm glad I was able to provide you with some form of entertainment on this Friday night, even though it was not exactly the way it used to be. I think this will turn out to be quite enjoyable anyway. My name is Francois. I have been your host. It's great to see you all here. Thank you for sharing your scores in the chat with everybody else. I will leave this running just a little bit longer, and hopefully you guys enjoyed yourselves. We'll see you next time on Mack Flash Trivia. You guys have a great weekend. Bye-bye.